Warning, 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 warning. This is a Emergency Broadcast. Code Red, hold on, Code Red, here we are. Pick up your iPads, your cell phones, and have me and listen to Uncle the Podcast. Watch out. If you're sitting down for this, or if you're standing up, you better get ready for this, because it's gonna hit the eardrums. Uncle the Broadcast.
You are listening to Uncle the Broadcast. My name is Aaron. I'm the nephew-in-law. Here with me is the star of the show, Uncle.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the number 350. We hit the jackpot.
Oh, the listeners are in luck. We're in luck. It's a lucky number. There's no way that this could go wrong at all tonight, Uncle. This is a glorious
Call
Friday.
the numbers. Stop yapping here, sidekick.
Well, as listeners know, we're live every Friday night on Ocelli.com, and you can call into the show. The number is 319-527-5016. You can also use Skype. If you do, type a message to Chuck. He's Charles Ocelli. He will call you. You just type him a message. Don't call him.
Yes, do not call, okay? Because a couple last week tried to call during the show. No, listen to Aaron. He said, send me a message. Ask me to call you into the show, right?
Oh, that wasn't
correct. That is exactly it, Chuck. It's a very specific process. I know it's a little confusing, but please do it that way. Type a message to Chuck, Charles Ocelli, or call 319-527-506. Uncle, this is your show.
Oh, you know.
We're just living in it. The rest of us, right? What do you have to say for yourself this week, Uncle? What's going on? What's happening? Anything good?
Nothing that much now. Get ready, everybody. You're going to lose your stuff.
You're talking about
it's coming down the pipe. Yes, wait.
You're talking about like
showing up.
You mean like how you...
Listen, it's my show.
That's fun. Oh,
it's my phone
there's a call. There's a call.
Okay, phone. Hang on, and you're listening to him.
Here it is. You're on, caller.
Hey, Uncle.
Uncle Jim. Hi, Jim.
The line.
Hey, Jimmy. What's up there, Jimmy? I knew it was Jimmy.
It is.
Yeah, what's happening?
How do you know that?
I know it. You're always the first caller. You're always the first caller. In other words, you are always the first caller.
Sometimes.
No, sometimes when you come in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, Jimmy?
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, the name of that podcast I want you to check out is called Packcast, as in Packards. The guy's a Packard fan.
Got it, yeah.
Oh.
Packcast.
But he has like a legitimate like news desk deal, but then he does the comedy stuff, which he's just really funny and realistic.
That's cool. Packcast.
I
Check
think
it out.
It's hilarious.
Packcast.
Yeah. It might have another name for the other deal he does where he pretends to be the other, just fans watching the game. It's hilarious.
You know, Jimmy, you bring up something. Jimmy, you bring up something really interesting that I've always wondered about the Uncle Show. Like, why is it that you guys don't invite some other comedy podcasters on? Because you really haven't invited too many comedy podcasters ever on the Uncle Show. And I'm thinking to myself, why not?
Good, Chuck. That's good.
That's what I'm wondering.
In fact, I'm going to have to make a point to reach out to people. I will say that
I've been saying the same stuff.
It looks as though that we have not done that. I will say that sometimes I'll come across like an Instagram profile of a stand-up comedian. I'm like, oh man, you're cool. I like your comedy. Look, I do this show, the Uncle Show. Yeah, I'm the co-host, but could you come on sometime? I'd really like it. You'd be a perfect guest. Ours is a comedy. It's improv comedy, the show itself. It'd be great to have you. I've sent these messages to people, and usually I don't hear anything back. I don't do it all the time. Now, mind you, I'm not doing this every day, but I have done it, and with little success. But that's not to say that if I didn't get the right person, I could get them on.
Did you ever message Sam Tripoli?
No, I did not.
All right, because I would message him, number one. Number two, there's actually a couple of little radio networks, like podcast networks. Some of them call themselves radio networks. Some of them call themselves podcast networks. And they've got a variety of people on there from, you could find anybody from Jim Florentine to guys that, believe me, I never heard of. And they get really mad if you tell them you never heard of them. But there's, stand-up comedians out there that think they're famous that aren't. And then there's guys that are kind of well known, and a lot of them do podcasts. I mean, Bill Burr is on a podcast network. I forget what it's called because I just go,
but see, Chuck, I don't mean to be a naysayer. I don't. I want to be positive. However, when I hear the name Bill Burr or anybody that is recognizable, I instantly think, nah, they ain't coming on.
Well, I've never I mean, the most famous stand-up comedian I ever got was Reverend Bob Levy, right? That was the most famous stand-up I ever got, unless you want to count Stuttering John as a stand-up, but I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but even so, you don't need a stand-up guy. You just need a guy who wants to come on and do some funny stuff, you know, and then get him to interact with Uncle. Bang. I mean, gold. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, no, I'm all for it.
I would get more talking. If you want to hear me more talking, get those people and you hear me talking. So start getting some people like they're saying you to get.
It's true. I have to work harder.
You're harder on it.
I do have to work harder on the guest procurement end of things.
And somebody that really enjoys talking to Uncle might turn around and invite him onto their podcast. And quite honestly, I envisioned years ago, and we didn't get the flow going really well, that I wanted to get reports from Uncle every once in a while. I'm thinking that somebody else might run with that sort of idea. Let's get Uncle to drop in and give us a report, or Uncle's sports report was my idea. But I mean, somebody else might get another one in.
I know.
And he could become part of somebody else's podcast out there. That would create automatic marketing for the Uncle show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Uncle, you could be a correspondent.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to want to be, but you're not doing the comp side on your side of getting the people.
Uncle, we need an agent. We need an agent or somebody.
That's right. Well, now you're saying these things. Well, that's what a long time ago I was thinking about.
Uncle, what you need to do, one of these days, maybe you and Mrs. Sidekick could take a drive up to L.A., and knock on the doors of all sorts of talent agents' offices and be like, present yourself. Like, look, I'm Uncle of Uncle the Podcast. I'm having some difficulties in finding and procuring guests and, getting appearances on other shows, on my marketing. Do you think you could help me out in that regard? As my agent, what could you do for me?
That's what I was going to about to do.
A nice day in L.A.
That's in L.A.?
I know that those people are all over the place in L.A., yes. There's a lot of them. Now, I don't know what their fees are.
No, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I don't have the money. But
But in the meantime, without an agent, it does come down to me. I'm not going to shirk my responsibility. I'm going to have to double down on my efforts to try to get comedy-oriented content creators on this show.
That's all you need. Just what you just said.
Yes.
Get away. All right. I got a Summon Revolution.
Oh.
It's an early one.
Oh.
And you just said it.
What, to get me to get more guests?
There you go.
There it is. More guests.
That's what I want to hear from you.
Okay.
That's for you going to start what you haven't been able to do to try to get them.
So what really this is time for me to give my revolution that I need to get more guests.
There you go. Jimmy, what do you think of all this? Does this sound like
what do you think about that, Jimmy?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea.
There you go.
See?
I'm glad, yeah.
I made one up for you.
Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad we're all volunteering your time, Aaron, and coming up with ways for you to do stuff? Isn't that great?
I applaud it. I applaud it. Well, it takes a lot of vision. You're a true visionary, Uncle. There's no way around it.
That would be perfect because I would get into somebody talking to me, And you know how I am. Chuck knows how I am. Jimmy knows how I am. I can get into those people's brains and talk like that.
There you go.
Yeah, get in there.
I mean, but you gotta get the people.
Got to. Yeah, that is important. There's no way around it. There's gotta have guests.
We got a job for him, people. His revolution is gonna be that.
I think the perfect guy that would join in perfect for a show would be David Spade.
David Spade.
There. Well, there's a high reach right there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I love ideas like that. I would absolutely. I'm all in favor of it. Mr. David Spade, be great.
Is that the guy
but
who
once
did,
again?
Is that the guy who did Joe Dirt? Or I always confuse him.
He
with
is Joe
else.
Dirt.
He's
yeah,
Joe
he
Dirt.
is Joe Dirt.
Okay, yeah, no, that would be a perfect fit, but I don't know how willing he is to go on other podcasts. I've never seen him really do it. I know Jim Florentine sometimes has been on podcasts of like people I shake my head at, like how the hell did they decide to go with them?
Yeah, I like Florentine too because he's a metal fan. He has his own show on one of the Sirius XM metal channels, and it's a good one.
Yeah. Plus, he does a podcast where he just like talks, which he includes some metal stuff on there too. But but his other comedy podcast, it's allegedly comedy, but sometimes it's just free flowing thoughts, and it's just pretty wild. Yeah, have you ever listened to the Jim Florentine podcast, the regular one?
I don't think I've listened to his actual podcast. I've seen him as a guest. Recently, I watched an old clip from an episode of Tom Green's show, the Webovision show he was doing from his house in Hollywood. Right. And he'd have people over to his house as guests. Florentine was there. I was watching a clip of that on YouTube. But I haven't ever actually heard his podcast.
Let's get the party people
I like him. I bet it's good.
Here too.
Party people, yes.
Yeah, because I heard they're back into the business.
We could get party people.
Get them in, because I know they'd come.
They would. They would. They're good friends.
Florentine is not, even though he's like a recognizable name to you and me, his podcast has steadily not been huge. It was huge like for 1 year, but that was about 6-7 years ago, right?
Even now when he has that show on Sirius, that doesn't bring listeners for him?
Still not that big. No, the podcast is not that huge.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah, he ranks below most contemporaries and a bunch of no-name guys even. His podcast doesn't carry... I mean, look, it carries more than we do. But, it's not that big. It's just not that big. And a lot of times these guys maintain their podcasts basically just to advertise their stand-up.
Yes, absolutely. I bet that's what he's doing. Yeah, because he's always like advertising his stand-up dates, even on his like heavy metal show and all that. It's like, I'll be in Cleveland this week at Yuck Yucks or whatever, So
right. And even when he gets like a metal band on to come on, they'll be like, oh, well, we're going to be in this city, and if he's there at the same time, boy, believe it, his date comes up if it's within 150 miles of the guys. Hey, I'm playing in the next city over. He does that, which is funny.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if he comes to California, even that might be a guy who would actually agree to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I might have to try to reach out to him. I should, and I'll. He's one that it'd be worthwhile to send like kind of a lengthy email to show that I do know who he is, that I appreciate his work, and I'm a fellow heavy metal enthusiast, things like that. I like his show over at Sirius. We also do our show. The whole thing is like
send him a card over.
Send him a card. Yes, all that sort of thing.
Do we need any more?
Yeah, I'm going to have to spend some time sending out some messages to people.
Yeah, like that. That
Yeah, people that we know would make good guests.
Right.
We need to do that. So
I have a weird angle to maybe discuss with you off air about how you could maybe add in to go at it and make it a unique request.
I might know kind of what you're talking about, like just knowing Florentine.
Because of Crank Yankers, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with that. We'll see.
There you go.
Okay.
You know where I'm going. Yeah.
I don't know what these people are talking about.
It's okay.
I mean,
It's all right, Uncle. Don't even sweat it.
It might be
this is your world. We're just living in it.
Yeah, it's
as we said at the top of the show.
It's a little secret to try and help, maybe to entice the guy. That's all that we're thinking of. That might work, and we don't want to share it because other people might try to use it. Yeah.
That's right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's interesting. But there's also just hundreds and hundreds of these guys. And especially in California where you are, I guarantee you there's people that probably are your neighbors that are stand-up comedians in one way or another.
Yeah, literally, probably.
Literally.
Yes.
You know who I would like to get on?
Who's that?
You haven't gone talking to
the neighbors. I know.
If those started, just the same, if we got them started,
yes,
they may have somebody may come then.
Well,
or might pull it in some way.
There's no doubt that our neighbors have massive social media followings. I'm talking massive.
Mm-hmm. I know they do.
So that's one of the reasons why it's a tenuous thing that would be really good to have them. But I want to walk that fine line of being a good neighbor, of not trying to pander, and also trying not to
Can we just ask?
Yeah, but I don't want to ask because I don't want to ask and make it seem like it's like this favor that's not deserving. Or say, you following what I'm? Am I making this up in my head? Is this some sort of neurosis I have? Am I making all this up? First of all, we
have a feeling that neighbors would get me going.
They would. I have no doubt. I have no doubt they would. Okay.
Another phone call. Hold on. Hold it, Jimmy. Who's on this line? Next caller. Hello?
Hey, guys. You guys are talking a lot of nonsense there tonight. It seems like about all of this. Who cares what those guys next door are doing? You guys are the best thing on the internet radio that there is. That's what matters.
Is that him again?
Thank you, Ed.
That's him again.
It means a lot, man. It really does. It does. This is Ed. Uncle.
Hey, Daddy, man. Don't talk. Just listen.
Just listen.
We're not going to talk
I'm listening,
that.
Uncle.
We're not talking that. We're talking other things.
You tell me when I can talk. I'll talk when you say.
Ed, have you been on since the Yankees got spanked or what?
Yeah.
No,
not since.
Yeah, that's what I'm. I was hoping we could get around to a little World Series talk since you guys bailed last week. I figured Uncle was kind of, ashamed of his Yankees the way they showed up. Man.
But I did want to hear.
So happy to see the Yankees.
I didn't want to embarrass him, or anything. But hey, man, my Dodgers just beat the shit out of your Yankees, man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. It was really my Mets that got you in there. If you think about it.
Well, I would have loved it.
Well, I think it was more like the Dodgers that kept the Mets out of there, isn't it?
They did. Kept your team in it. Kept you to get you there. So it's my Mets that I'm mad about.
So the Mets paid a favor to the Dodgers in losing to them. Right. That was a favor they did.
Yeah.
God, they're nice. Such a nice, cordial team.
Okay.
Christmas come early for the Dodgers. There you go. Direct from the Mets headquarters.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, this World Series was so much fun. Whenever the Dodgers are even in it, it's fun, even when they lose, which is most of the time. But when they win, oh, man, that's huge. And if they beat the Skankies, hell yeah.
And it was enjoyable games. It wasn't just a bunch of blowouts and crap and slow-moving, nonsense.
It was a lot of
interesting.
Numbers were pretty high.
Gave them a litlittle hope with that bullpen game in Game 4 that they won.
Mm-hmm.
Gave them a little hope and let them get up 5-0 in Game 5, thinking, yeah, we're going back to L.A. All we got to do is win 2 on the road. We've done that before. Up 5 runs, man, we're going back to L.A. Judge was wondering who he's going to sit by and party with on the plane when he dropped that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made I tell you something, they made a fool of themselves with all them errors all over the place.
Have you ever heard of John Boy videos? He does baseball videos, and he reads the lips and he's really good at reading the lips of when there's arguments or guys talking. Anyway, he's a big Yankees fan, and he put up a video, though. It showed the Dodgers scouting report. He got a hold of it, and it said, just put the ball in play and essentially let the Yankees destroy themselves on the field. That's the Dodgers scouting report part of it.
Interesting.
And that was so true. Well, look up, go to John Boy. John Boy Videos, YouTube. Really good baseball videos.
Interesting. Okay, but we've got
JOMBOY.
got the
good video, and he's a Yankees fan.
Ooh.
Yankees fan, but he got a hold of a Dodger scouting report on the Yankees, and essentially it just said, they'll do themselves in. Just put the ball in play. And if anybody that watched the fifth inning of that last game, we saw that happen.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Dodgers have good scouts, man.
Yeah. A big part of it. Yeah, doing intel. That's what that is. That's the intelligence operatives of baseball.
Intelligence report. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
True
real.
enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Hey, we're back to politics. Let's not go that way now. Come on, guys.
Oh, boy.
Government hour. Government hour. I live for it, Uncle. I live for government.
That's his. Hey, if you want government hour, shut me off, and you can have it on him.
I already heard his and Chuck's, and so I'm ready for your hour, brother. You're my hour, Uncle. You save my life every week when you come on, man.
There you go. Yeah.
You mean you were listening to this guy? That crummy guy that's going to be in our office?
I wanted to talk about other stuff on my show. I just couldn't convince anybody to get to it. It was
no, man. You're. That's what I listened to your show tonight for, man. Hell yeah, because Jimmy. I got to hear Jimmy.
Well, no, I wanted to hear from Jimmy, but
Jimmy still seems mad though. Jimmy should be partying. He still seems mad to me, man.
I don't
know. Jimmy, you there?
I think he's. Yeah, no, I got him on hold.
Come on in here, Jimmy.
I got him on hold,
bring it in here.
Bring him in? Okay, I'll bring him in.
Bring Jimmy in here.
Yeah, bring Jimmy in here.
You got it.
Feel okay?
Just bring it in here. I want them buddy saying, it's beeping. I'm getting tired of that.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy's part of this conversation. Bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in. Bring him in.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Don't break the line. Open the lines up, Chuck.
I did
Open
already.
the lines
First
up
off, how about those Dodgers, Jimmy?
I did already.
Flaherty helped. Flaherty came from the Tigers. He helped.
Yeah.
Somebody comes from the Tigers. I didn't think we were going to talk about this,
Dodgers
Jimmy.
got a pitcher named Flaherty from the Tigers, and not in the last game he pitched, he wasn't so good, but he was helpful along the way. So, thank you, Tigers, man.
There you go.
And I'll have to admit, after this season, I like the timed pitching now. It shaves 40 minutes off these games on average, which
you like
they needed.
That? Not me, man.
I've come to like it. I've come to like it.
Not me, man. Not me. I think, you know what? I think that it is, including Ohtani, now a Dodger who I love, and hey, I'm in the Ohtani religion and everything, but he's the first 50-50 guy, but he did it after they did the deal where pitchers can only throw twice, and if they throw a third time, it counts as a balk if they don't pick the guy off. I think that's BS, and the bases, the 4 inches bigger bases. So, I'm not for that, man.
For the gulping on the backside of a pitcher?
No, they made last year, not this year. Last year was the first year they made the bases a total of 4 inches bigger, and a pitcher can only make 2 throws to first base, pick-off moves. If he makes a third and he doesn't get the guy out, it's like a balk. The guy goes to second base. So you can't hold runners on. You can't really hold runners on. So
that's no good.
That guy, what's his name? 40 stolen bases, 70 stolen bases, 40 home runs for the Braves last year. Acuna. And even Ohtani, God love him, 54 homers, 59 stolen bases. He did it under those rules. They get asterisks, as far as I'm concerned.
They get asterisks.
I'd love them. They're great ball players. They belong in the Hall of Fame. But, when you change rules and make it easier to do something like steal bases, you got to get the asterisk next to your name in the record books eventually.
It's a dog.
Interesting. Yeah.
I may be talking more inside baseball than you guys were aware of. If I am, I'm sorry. But last year they made the bases bigger.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
And only 2 throws to first base. If you don't get the guy out, if you throw a third time, he goes to second base like a balk. That's as of last year.
Yeah, we saw one of those
rules.
We saw one of those in the series.
I didn't know. Very good, interesting, Ed, because I didn't even know about that. You come up with something interesting to talk about.
Don't.
What's going on?
Yeah, it is, and it's all on what's his name. The commissioner of baseball, the present commissioner of baseball, whose name I've suddenly forgotten. It'll probably pop into my head in a second. But
the only thing I can remember...
Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred. I think anybody who has any inside connection to Trump should have Rob Manfred arrested and put in prison right now. Personally.
High up on the
what did he do?
List, what didn't he do, Uncle? That's the problem.
In the baseball.
First act of the first day in office, Rob Manfred will be arrested and prosecuted for trying to ruin baseball.
Oh, now we're talking about, since you're into that standpoint, how do you think our borders are going to be like? Now, just
our
for
borders?
For
the curiosity of everybody talking.
Borders.
Yeah, how do you think our borders
you mean
will be?
You mean Mexican baseball players coming to America to play, or what?
Those kind of people coming through our borders.
Mexican baseball players, I'm all for them. They got some good players down there. All of those Latin American ball players are good.
As long as the president doesn't,
legal or not.
As long as the president don't shoot them.
Yeah, man, we'll get around him.
You're gonna have them. That president's gonna go in there and start shooting them. For the way he talks.
Well, no, he's not, Uncle. Look, Uncle, who's going to work in his hotels? Who's going to work in his hotels if he does that? We're going to get good ball players and cheap hotel workers. Nothing's going to change, dude.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, but we're not going to pay a cent. They're going to give the rich the rich.
There it is.
And
but everybody
we're not going to have a cent. We're not going to have a cent.
We're not, but it doesn't matter what party's in there. What has Biden done for you? Nothing. Force a bunch of experimental serum injections that Trump inaugurated onto you.
No, what he did.
We don't need that
was
crap.
He took the pills down. Well, he's not going to do that.
Price of meds.
The price of meds? What do you think he did?
You're talking about the insulin, right?
Man,
and insulin. Yes. Now
what I think is going to be good if we can get the borders open, get more Latin American baseball players up here because they're very good baseball players. They're fun to watch. They have great skills.
Oh boy,
it's an important initiative, no doubt about it. Very important.
I don't know how we got into it.
If we're going to talk politics, we're not going to separate it from baseball.
Well, that's
right.
Absolutely.
South America is already in the United States.
Who?
We need more of those.
Only 25% of the current people, the illegal aliens, speak Spanish currently, and most of them aren't from Mexico.
You know what? That's really good. That's excellent, Jimmy, because we won't need to hire as many interpreters for the ball clubs for the ball players.
168.
Excellent information.
Yeah.
168.
And everything's running like a fine-oiled machine, as far as I can tell.
It is. Exactly.
It's
going as it should. It's going as it has to.
That's the truth.
Okay, let's see if we can do it. Hold on for 4 years now.
Uncle, are you
4 years? Are the Dodgers going to win the World Series 4 years in a row? Is that what you're saying, Uncle?
Oh yeah.
No, they got to have strong pitchers and a lot.
I'm down with that. Oh, they're going to. They're going to get them in the offseason, man.
If they don't have a single pitcher that can't do what they did, they ain't going to be in there.
It's important.
Bet on that.
Well,
it's all about pitching.
You know what, though? But the pitching kind of stood up in the World Series, didn't it?
It did there. But, I mean, that's just
all of that flaky stuff they did for the last month of the season kind of pulled together when they got into it went opposite as usual. Usually they roar into the last few years into the playoffs, and then they get wiped out right away. This year they look like, how are they going to make it through this? They're not going to make it with this pitching. And the pitcher stood up.
That's what
for the most part. I got to take back every bad thing I said against them.
That's the one thing I was surprised at. Is their pitcher stood up?
Yeah.
I mean, because we knew how at the time in the series with the other series, when they went and beat and the Yankees come back and beat them and had a sweep, I said, oh boy, what's going to happen in the next series? That's what I just been thinking about. Not the hitting.
They did it by the skin of their teeth, though.
But
it was by the skin of the teeth because, the guy that closed the game for the Dodgers was a starter who just came back from Tommy John surgery. He's been flaky. He's been good, but in the postseason he was good. Walker Buehler, big game Buehler from 2020. But you know what?
Did the Yankees
came through, man? They had no relievers left, and he told the manager, "I can do it. I'll pitch," and he got it done, man.
Did they have
dramatic?
Didn't they have a closer? Dodgers had a closer.
Yeah, but they used him. They used him earlier in the game.
Yeah, they used him earlier in the game.
He threw like 40 pitches. He couldn't come out again.
Yeah, they used him earlier in the game. Their closer, from what I understood.
Yeah, that's the worst time to do it.
Earlier, and
that's the worst time to.
Buehler told the manager, "Hey." Buehler said, and Buehler just pitched a day before day before this, 2 days before, started the game, did well.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Hey, I'm available if you need me in the bullpen." Dodger manager said, patted him on the head, "Hey, no, we need you if we have a game 7. 7th inning came around, and Buehler, he grabbed his bag and his glove, said, "Look, Skip, I'm going to the bullpen. If you want me, call me." And he just split. He took it on himself, and hey, man, they didn't have anybody else that could be trusted, and he came out. Man, that guy, he should be a co-MVP almost with.
Was he the MVP?
Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
he was
former Atlanta Brave. MVP. Chuck, I know you're not a Braves fan, but
I told you he was Atlanta Brave guy. I knew it was because I saw it.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman.
Well, Freeman.
Yes, he was a Brave guy.
We also learned about him that he went to the high school in Orange, the city of Orange, that was right by where we lived when we were living in Orange. He went to high school in the same
man growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know he went to high school.
He grew up in Orange. He went to high school right down the street from where we lived. Yeah.
How come you didn't know that? Should have signed autographs.
Yeah, I guess so. I did not realize that. My wife found that out. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Went to Omodina High School.
Freddie.
Cool.
Hey, you gotta take what joy you can get in this world, man. Dodgers beating the Yankees, that's big joy for me, man. I love you guys, but that's a big
I guess it's a big step for beating the Yankees, because there is one thing that my aunt and uncle always kept saying was they hated the Yankees. Actually, thinking it back, we hated the Yankees. But I always did like my Mets, but the Yankees, that's the other story. I see where you're coming from.
I think I like the Mets because they hired Willie Mays at the end of his career. I don't know, man. I remember that, and so I have a fond feeling about the Mets for that.
It brought him into the World Series, too.
Yeah, brought him into it.
Yeah.
They didn't win it, but they played the A's that year.
Oh, yeah.
They did. I bet you next year they'll be better. Oh, wait.
Well, yeah.
See what
I
happened
remember
next
Gil
year.
Hodges, who managed that team, former Brooklyn Dodger, managed the Miracle Mets, did he not?
I believe so.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was the manager that year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
69.
Yeah, Gil Hodges.
Oh,
and he
yes,
died of a
the
heart
69
attack
one.
shortly after that.
Oh, yeah, he died. He died?
It's interesting if you ever watch
Yeah,
any
he
of
passed
the...
away not too much after he led the Mets to their first ever World Series. Gil Hodges, beloved Brooklyn Dodger first baseman.
It's interesting if you watch those old games, some of them, you can see Nolan Ryan coming out of the bullpen.
Oh, yeah, Nolan Ryan was with the Mets, too.
That's funny.
But then he went to Houston. that cheating team.
Well, wait. After he left the Mets, he went to the Angels.
You did?
Yes. He went to the California Angels. Then he went to the Houston Astros.
Oh.
And then finally the Rangers. Nolan Ryan, yeah.
I think Nolan Ryan was like one of the Nephilim or something, because that guy was a hard thrower. He never had any Tommy John surgery, and he pitched into his 40s throwing hard like he did. He had to be one of those guys that was came out of the union of the whatever, the angels and the women of earth, the Nephilim people. He must be like one of those guys.
Union of the snake, like Duran. Yeah. There we go. Yeah,
I mean, he never had a Tommy John surgery, and he wasn't a junk ball pitcher that throws, soft stuff. He threw hard stuff his whole career into his 40s,
That's crazy.
And was good, So I don't know. That guy's an anomaly.
Yeah, over 5,000 strikeouts, over 300 wins. I mean, the guy.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I mean, the only thing is his win-loss record was kind of rough, but you got to remember the teams he was with.
Teams he played for. Yeah.
I mean, when you're playing...
then as a Dodger fan, in '73 when he broke Sandy Koufax's single-season strikeout record, I say an asterisk goes there, because that was the first year that the designated hitter went in the American League.
That's when it started.
So, hey, if it's a close game, leave him in, man. He doesn't have to hit.
Yeah. That's when it started?
See that?
You remember? Oh.
73 was the first year of the designated hitter, and that's the year that Nolan Ryan in the American League broke Sandy Koufax's single-season strikeout record. Yeah. So I say an asterisk belongs there, but that's a Dodger fan talking.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
But later in his career, though, he was still leading the league a bunch of times when he was with the Astros, still with the strikeouts, and with the Astros he had to bat. So
Oh, no doubt, man. The dude was a monster pitcher.
Yeah.
There's no getting around that. Yeah.
I wonder how the teams will react in the summer now. I'm coming back next summer. How they're going to react from starting up again. I mean, when they come up.
That's always a question.
Well, the Dodgers are going to bring in some good pitchers, and they're going to repeat the World Series win. Maybe over the Yankees again, hopefully. That's what I'm calling right now.
Right now, we got a big problem.
Yeah, why not?
We're having a problem we're having a problem with the Chiefs. That team has won two. Now in the football for a moment, they won 2 Super Bowls. They're going for a 3-peat. Yeah. So now if they get this next one, they'll be in a 3-peat.
People will be officially sick of them if that happens.
That's what they're working on.
Then the fans will have it out for them.
That's what they're working on.
If they don't already.
Yeah, but that's what they're working on now. Stop talking back there.
You know what? I believe that sports gets fixed and that there's cheating.
Oh yeah, there's loads of that.
But I don't think it doesn't necessarily only work. It doesn't always work. I think in baseball, it's not the players that you can cheat with now. Now, I confess, I listen to, I'm a subscriber of Ocelli and a Greek Rated Y, and a Greek thinks baseball hitters can hit a ball anytime, anywhere they want. And I don't think he understands the physics of a pitch baseball. And I think those guys that told him that minor league players were pulling his leg, or they were guys who knew they were not long for pro ball because they weren't advancing and being able to hit even a little bit. And they pulled his leg. But there is cheating in baseball. We know that.
Oh yeah,
2017 Astros, anybody?
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm talking to. That about cheating in baseball. That's where it first started.
Also, you notice all these guys have to cover their mouths when they talk now and stuff like that, which,
Oh, yeah.
For years, people were, reading lips and stealing signs and, yeah.
Just, that's something I think the Greek doesn't quite grasp the whole picture of. But yes,
I'd like to know
and umpiring.
Well, I don't agree with everything.
If you look at Game 5 of that 2017 World Series, the umpiring was very, very bad. But it was usually when an umpire's off, he's just not catching the outside pitch. He's given an extra 6 inches to both teams. Game 5. He was giving it to the Astros.
Yeah, that's always happened.
And I watched it, and I could see it, but
that kind of stuff is always happened. There was one of those
baseball, these baseball stat sites. There's about 5 or 6 that are people really rely on them. One dude, he did a thing where, the calls were going exponentially against the Dodgers. I'm figuring Bill Miller, who was a behind-the-plate umpire that night, got a fat envelope of cash with his hotel tray that night.
Could be.
Because it was really obvious. If you're a close observer of baseball, you saw this. And Darvish wasn't tipping his pitches. They were electronically transmitted to the hitter. So we know this stuff now, but back then, to my credit, I told a friend of mine, something's wrong with this World Series, dude. I don't know what it is, but there's something fishy. And then he's the one who told me a year and a half later, hey, man, did you hear the Astros cheated? What? Tell me about it.
What do you think about this challenging?
Asking a question.
Yeah,
Ask a question here for a moment. Hold on there, Chuck.
Sure.
Hold on. How would you explain an umpire, for example, have figured it out to give a cheat game out on one certain team? Hello?
Yeah,
well, I think they get paid. It's about money. But you know what? The players get so much money now. What are you going to give the players money-wise? To like the 1919 Black Sox, they tried to pay those guys not to play well, and all of that. But these guys get so much money, they're going to be, dude, you're going to ruin my reputation. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Only on that time.
So
only on a
umpires
series.
And technology.
Oh. Well,
technology and umpiring is how it's rigged now. If it's rigged and cheated, it's technology and umpiring.
And it's only on
here's the deal.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
If you put a hitter's up to bat, and it's a 0-1 count, the pitch is outside, but it gets called a strike. It's 0-2 now. It's well known batting averages at 0-2 goes way down because the dude's protecting. He's just trying to stay alive in the at bat. That's how an umpire can control a game. I watched it in 2017, Game 5 of the World Series, as a bitter Dodger fan over that, who's a student of baseball. Any game, an umpire can affect the game by making bad calls like that.
I better start listening. Sidekick. You better start listening to baseball and the umpires.
It's a mind game, Uncle. It's a very big mind game, baseball is. I'm telling you.
Mind game.
Mind game.
I like
it's a mind game.
trying to figure this out.
I mean, they're good athletes and everything, but it's a mind game that they play between themselves.
Sure.
What's going on there?
Look out, Uncle.
Shoot, I didn't know he knew all this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Man, this guy knows a
lot going on there if you're paying attention to it.
You put batters in bad counts. You know how they collect all the data nowadays, all the technology.
Yes.
If a dude's 1-2, 0-2, his batting average goes way down. If he's 2-1, 3-1, his batting average goes up. Who controls that behind the plate? The umpire.
True. So with less than 10 minutes left.
10 minutes. We're talking 10 minutes. We're talking talk.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk, we're talking. Man.
Less than 10 minutes left. Okay. I was wondering what you guys think about this ability to challenge plays in baseball now. You know, where they can actually get a replay and challenge a play, and you got so many challenges. What do you think of that, Uncle?
I thought that there is interesting too, Chuck. Now that's another thing, Ed. That is be good. I mean, because now it's following. You know how football is doing. They're doing the same thing with football as they're doing now in the challenge in baseball. I think now it's evening out. My opinion. What do you think, Ed?
I, of course, have an opinion on this.
Well, what is it?
In baseball, back in 1977-78, the Dodgers lost 2 in a row World Series to the Yankees. One of those games was lost. One of the crucial one of those series was lost because Reggie Jackson stuck his hip out, obviously, and deflected a double play ball that was thrown from second base. And it was obvious on the replay. But you couldn't challenge. We had replay then, but you couldn't challenge. How frustrating. Look, gosh, look at that. It's obvious. Tommy Lasorda probably died 5 years earlier than he had to because he never forgave Reggie for that.
I never seen that.
You know,
did you ever see that?
And so now, if that same play happened today, we could challenge it, and they'd say, hey, no, that's a double play.
Yep.
Oh, because it hit the guy. Right.
Yeah, he literally, you can watch the video if you can find that video. I forget if it's I think it's the 78 series. Yeah, it was an easy double play ball.
Right.
And Reggie, he like stuck his hip out to deflect the throw. Obvious, but the umpires missed it. And Lasorda was enraged, but nobody cared. There's no replay. You know, I want a replay on this. There's you know, you don't
That's
get that.
why it came back.
But you see it on the TV. They show you the replays. And you're pissed off. So, no, I think if we got to see the replay, then the manager can ask for a replay. I think that's a good deal.
Oh.
There we go. Well, Uncle, do we want to do shout-outs?
Oh, no. You got a shout-outs. Come on the shout-outs. All right, Jimmy first. Jimmy, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, shoot out a shout-out, and then we'll go around to everybody here.
Well, what can I do but shout out the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers and the MVP Freddie Freeman, man. He really brought it. Good on you, brother.
Well, he had his.
And I love you guys as always. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Chuck, Aaron, Uncle, all you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ed. All right.
We'll see you, Ed. Take care.
So we'll put it on hold. Now we'll do Jimmy. We meant to do Jimmy first, but
we got a little backwards here.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
But go ahead, Jimmy.
Shout out to the Lions. I have fun tearing apart those nasty Texans.
Nice.
I'm sure you'll win by a good 30, 40, 50 point spread.
Nice.
As has been the use lately with the Lions. Just real quick, do you think the Lions could take KC? Yes or no? And good night, everyone, and peace.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. It's great to talk to you.
Yeah,
what do you think about that, Uncle? Could the Lions beat Kansas City in a game?
I think they could.
They can.
The way they've been playing, I think they could.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Nana's waiting to have somebody beat him. Because I know the way she's looking, talking.
Potential Super Bowl on FCFC.
And up undefeated. Does that remind you of something?
Potential Super Bowl. I mean, they're both good teams. They could both make it there, so we'll see. Uncle, do you have shout-outs?
Oh, I'm the last one. You're the first one.
I'm the first one?
Yeah, I'm the last one.
Okay.
You know the system.
It's usually. Okay, shout out to all the comedy people. I'm going to be messaging you shortly. And preemptively, I want to thank you for even sending a message back to me or possibly coming on the show. That's great. Shout out to you.
There you go.
You did?
Uncle, who you got?
I got everybody that's been listening. Oh, and hopefully had a lot of listeners on my outside shows out of the country. See how they came out. Shout out to y'all.
Chuck, did you want to shout anybody else?
You want to shout?
No, I'm good. I mean, look, I'll let you know, Uncle, that we had listeners in Germany and Canada tonight outside of the U.S., and that's about it for outside the country this week.
Okay.
All right. Well, Uncle, I think we do need to...
There is a show 350 is in the books. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we want to talk off...
well, at Uncle Podcast, the social media is UncleThePodcast.com. That's it. Okay. You're right. Okay, we'll go now.
Gee, look. It's 2 minutes. You're going to talk off air about something. Right?